Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 114 based on novel. So let's start. The two of them didn't have green liquid smeared on their bodies, but they emanated a mysterious aura. At the moment they walked out of the valley, they bit the tips of their tongues and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. This blood wasn't spat toward Wang Lin but on the ground outside the valley. After doing this, they began running back into the valley. Wang Lin was calm as he casually captured the two and threw them to the side. Then he looked at the ground covered by their blood and saw a blood mist slowly appear. At first it was faint, but it soon became very thick and quickly covered the area outside the valley. Wang Lin was still sitting there in the lotus position as he calmly looked at the valley without using any spells. When that blood mist reached its peak, a roar came from inside the valley. A black figure walked out from the valley and into the blood mist. This figure gave off a strange feeling. Return my tribe members and fuck off from my tribe's territory. Otherwise, die. A cold voice came from the black figure inside the blood mist. Wang Lin's expression was normal as he let out cold snort. He stood up and took a step forward. With this one step, countless ripples appeared around him. The ripples vibrated violently as they spread, and Wang Lin rushed forward. With one step, the ripples charged forward like crazy and the blood mist began to sizzle like hot water was poured on ice. Then the blood mist began to dissipate at an extremely quick rate. This entire sequence didn't even last more than 3 breaths of time. After 3 breaths of time, the blood mist was completely gone. The only thing remaining was someone wearing a black robe staring at Wang Lin with shock as Wang Lin walked in closer. He was about to retreat when Wang Lin reached out and his body floated forward against his will and landed before Wang Lin. Wang Lin coldly looked at this person and waved his right hand. He threw this person to the side and trapped him along with the other 6. After doing all this, Wang Lin examined the formation a bit before sitting back down and beginning to silently ponder. The thunderous roar caused everyone inside the valley to become silent. This silence lasted for 3 days. For 3 days, Wang Lin sat there motionlessly, and the inside of the valley didn't emit any sound. On the morning of the 4th day, the formation around the valley began to rumble and an old man with a black cane slowly walked out from the valley. Behind him followed more than 10 topless people. Although they all looked very skinny and sickly, their eyes were filled with intelligence. The white-haired old man's body seemed extremely weak. He walked out of the valley and softly said, "Foreign cultivator, you have already been here for several days. We were reckless earlier and I hope you will forgive us. This old man is named Ouyang Hua, and I am the elder of this valley. How about you return my tribe members and I'll have a long talk with you? From as far back as this old man can remember, I was already living here. I have no idea how long it has been since then." Ouyang Hua was sitting outside the valley. Before him was a table and with some fruits. Wang Lin was sitting in the lotus position on the opposite side of this old man, his expression calm. The several trapped people had already been released and they had returned to the valley. Ouyang Hua's voice was bland as he said, "This old man doesn't know exactly how big this place is, but I know that there is an extremely large city 15 million kilometers from here. That place is the ancient demon city. This old man began learning there, and that's where I gained my long life. Foreign cultivator, I don't know what you want, but it is definitely not something my small tribe can provide you." Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he slowly said, "Do you know where I came from? When you appeared outside the valley, I knew you weren't someone from this land. It should be said that you and your companions come once every 5,000 years, and every time you guys come, you bring along endless bloodshed. That is why I did not welcome your arrival." Ouyang Hua softly sighed. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he asked, "Do you have news of other foreigners?" Ouyang Hua decisively said, "None right now, and I hope that there will be none in the future. Foreigner, there is nothing you need here. I have said what I needed to say, so you should leave. You can go to that ancient demon city, you'll find something there." Wang Lin calmly asked, "What is the thing you keep saying I need? What exactly is it?" Ouyang Hua's face sank as he stood up, looked at Wang Lin, and said, "Foreigner, I have said all I need to say. Although you have some ability, if it wasn't for me not wanting to get into a fight with you, I would have definitely not let you go for capturing my tribe members. Foreigner, don't be mistaken. If you are not gone within 3 breaths of time, don't blame me for being ruthless. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he stared at the elder. He waved his palm in the air and a green light gathered in his hand. This green light shined violently, and with the point of his finger, it flew toward the valley. The formation around the valley activated on its own, and as the green light arrived, there was a loud rumble. Wang Lin coldly snorted as he slapped his bag of holding and a restriction flag appeared. He waved flag and the 999 restrictions flew out and covered the area with black fog. Wang Lin's figure inside the black fog made him look like a demon general. His cold eyes gave off an endless amount of pressure. Break the formation. Wang Lin's voice seemed to travel throughout all of the desolate area. With one word, the surrounding restriction gas charged out and continued to attack the formation outside the valley. Ouyang Hua's expression changed greatly and became extremely gloomy as he looked at Wang Lin. He sneered, then his body flashed and unbelievably collapsed into specks of light. Wang Lin's eyes were cold. He had already noticed that the Ouyang Hua before him wasn't the real body and was only an illusionary body. If it wasn't for the fact that he had studied the formation for several days and had gained enough understanding to be able to almost break it, there was no way he would have returned those tribe members so easily. His right hand formed a seal as he pointed at the formation and softly said, "Explode." A series of rumblings echoed across the entire valley. The formation began to tremble violently like there were dragons raging within it and began to release a bright, green glow. At the same time, Ouyang Hua's ancient voice came from within the valley. "Foreigner, this old man gives you 3 breaths of time to leave. If you don't, I'm going to activate the attack formation. At that time, you will surely die." Wang Lin spat out the word, "Gather." With one word, the surrounding restriction gas immediately began to move and explode, creating a powerful shockwave that hit the formation. The formation shook violently once more. Ouyang Hua's voice was suddenly cut off and he let out an angry roar. The entire valley suddenly released a bright flash of green light. In the blink of an eye, this green light became extremely dense. Green ripples began to appear from the cliffs, ground, and grass around the valley. The instant these ripples appeared, they were drawn by the mysterious force produced by the green light inside the valley. At this moment, the green light in the valley began to move in a mysterious way. It began to drift apart like green flames, and in an instant, it formed a giant, green illusion. This illusion was human-shaped but was tens of feet tall. Only its figure could be seen and not the exact features. The figure was filled with green light. The moment the illusion appeared, Ouyang Hua's voice immediately came from within the valley. "Foreigner, you brought all of this upon yourself. Green illusion, kill him and bring his soul as the sacrifice for today's demonic night." With that, an inhuman roar came from the illusion. This roar wasn't loud, but it caused the sky to change colors and the ground to immediately shake. Although it was only for an instant, it caused Wang Lin's eyes to narrow. He revealed a sneer as his right hand formed a seal and he shouted, "Restriction Lance." Wang Lin's right hand reached out and strands of black restriction fog moved around like dragons. If one looked up, they would see the black restriction fog covering the entire sky. With the howling that came from within the fog, it seemed like the demonic army from hell was about to descend. The surrounding black gas released an ear-piercing howl as it quickly gathered on Wang Lin's arm. Finally, a lance 30 feet long and as thick as his arm appeared in his hand. There was black lightning moving around the lance and there was thunder coming from inside it, making it even more fearsome. There was a ghostly light on the tip of the lance. Under the sun at noon, it was extra eye-catching. At almost the same moment Ouyang Hua finished speaking, Wang Lin threw the lance, and it shot out like a ray of black lightning toward the green illusion. The lightning broke through the sky like a gulf in the underworld and broke through space as if it was God's will. It was so powerful that it could damage the heavens and shatter the earth. As it broke through space, it even attracted the thunder from the high heavens, creating a series thunderous booms that rumbled across the area. The lance broke the sound barrier and shot out like lightning toward the green illusion, letting out a thunderous roar on the way. The green illusion was human-shaped, but there were no details on its face, there was only a vague outline. A mysterious light suddenly appeared in the eyes of the illusionary figure. Its hands formed a seal like a cultivator and it opened its mouth as if it was trying to say something. A large amount of green light suddenly appeared from the grass and flowers covering the area. In almost an instant, everything as far as the eye could see was covered in this bright light. All of this happened in an extremely short period of time. When Wang Lin saw the figure make a seal like a cultivator, his eyes narrowed. He didn't even look at the lance he had tossed out and immediately backed up several dozen feet. Wang Lin was backing up, but the lance was moving faster than lightning toward the green figure. As the lance charged forward and Wang Lin retreated, his eyes revealed a mysterious light. Both of his hands formed a seal as he backed up, and the images of various restriction sets appeared in his head. These sets of restrictions flashed mysteriously in Wang Lin's mind as they began to link together. Then they suddenly split apart and began to link together in different ways. However, after doing this a few times, some of the restrictions would stay fused and would move away from the others. If one looked carefully, they would see that there were already dozens of these restrictions in the pile of ones that had already fused. The process of linking and separating was like a cycle that kept on going. This kind of process for Wang Lin was a type of deduction. This deduction had begun the moment he saw the ancient formation and sat down on the ground. What Wang Lin studied wasn't normal restrictions, but the ancient restrictions from the land of the ancient god. These techniques were very old, and even the ancient cultivators only managed to learn how to use them and didn't create them themselves. Already 57. Still need to continue. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. The lance of restrictions continued to charge toward the green figure. When Wang Lin retreated a few dozen feet, the lance was already within 1 foot of the green figure. Its speed was too fast, so it broke through the sound barrier. The wind it created moved even faster than the lance and collided with the green figure. At this moment, the green figure collapsed under the wind. However, at the moment it collapsed, the crystal green lights that shined where its eyes were suddenly dimmed. But they immediately started shining brightly again. At this moment, the green lights thousands of kilometers around the valley all shined brightly. Rays of green light shot out from these floating blobs of green light. The rays sent out by these countless floating blobs of green light intertwined with each other. All of this happened right after the green figure collapsed. This happened too fast, so fast that it left people with no time to react. Even with the speed of the lance, it only managed to move several dozen feet in that period of time. However, just at this moment, in the blink of an eye, change happened before Wang Lin. Although the deduction was still going on in Wang Lin's mind and was reaching its completion, his eyes were still staring at the formation. At this moment, Wang Lin could see that the area 10,000 feet around the formation was surrounded by countless layers of green light. The entire area 10,000 feet around the valley had become a giant, green cage. Wang Lin was caught inside this cage. There were countless green flashes in the cage, and it was impossible to tell how many of them flashed violently at the same time. There was a flash and a bang from the lance, and it cracked in half down the middle. Although the restriction lance was destroyed, Wang Lin didn't seem to care, because after all, the lance was formed by restrictions. As far as it not breaking the formation, Wang Lin wasn't surprised. The only way it would have broken the formation would have been for the formation to just be out in the open and not defend itself at all as the lance hit it at full power. Wang Lin's true reason for throwing out the lance was because the deduction in his mind was almost complete and he could begin breaking the formation at any moment. The restriction lance was destroyed, and he was trapped inside this 10,000-foot radius cage of green light, but his expression didn't change at all. In Wang Lin's mind, the deduction continued to push toward a solution. Ouyang Hua's cold laughter came from within the valley. "Foreigner, how is my tribe's formation? It is not too late to leave now. Break an arm and a leg and reveal your origin soul for the formation to absorb 3 times, then I'll let you leave." Wang Lin raised his head as he looked into the valley. Suddenly, shadows of symbols appeared inside his eyes. Finally, those shadows quickly gathered inside his eyes. The 83rd one. This is already the limit, but it should be enough to break this formation. At this moment, Wang Lin's deduction reached a solution. His eyes were like the ghostly fire of the underworld that would cause anyone who looked at him to tremble. He looked at the valley and coldly said, "Impudent person, you even dare to say such arrogant words." Ouyang Hua's mad laughter came from within the valley. "Is that so? Then let this old man show you who here is really impudent. Green figure, kill and collect." After he said that, the green cage surrounding the valley quickly began to shrink at an unimaginable speed. In almost the blink of an eye, it was already within dozens of feet of Wang Lin. All of this happened in the time it took for the green light to flash once. "Foreigner, you will become the second demon shadow for my valley." Ouyang Hua's voice from within the valley was filled with cruel bloodlust. Wang Lin's body didn't move at all, but at this moment, symbols quickly flashed through his eyes. Every time a symbol flashed, there was a glow of ghostly light. As they flashed, restriction symbols flew out of his eyes and locked onto his surrounding. The first symbol released a ghostly light as it flew out of Wang Lin's eyes. When it landed in the air, ripples appeared around it, then it disappeared without a trace. As the green light cage closed in like crazy, all of the living things it passed through wilted as if being devoured. As it closed in on the center and became smaller and smaller, the aura it gave off became stronger and stronger. At the end of another flash, the green light was only 30 feet from Wang Lin. However, just at this moment, the first complete restriction symbol appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. The symbol merged into the void and spread out like ripples. The ripples immediately collided with the enclosing green net. There wasn't any heaven-shattering sound, but there were sizzling sounds coming in from the net, and the speed at which it closed in even paused for a moment. Wang Lin's eyes flashed again and 10 complete restriction symbols appeared. Then they all disappeared into the void and ripples began to spread out. The sizzling sound from the green light cage that had just paused for a moment became even louder. This time, lines that looked like cracks slowly spread across the cage, creating a series of cracking sounds. 30 restriction symbol sets. Wang Lin's eyes flashed again, and this time 30 restriction symbols appeared before quickly merging into the void. The green light cage that was within 30 feet of Wang Lin immediately collapsed. It turned into countless specks of light like a starry sky. It looked very mysterious. Wang Lin's expression was normal as he looked at the valley. At the same time, the strange symbol sets continued to flash in his eyes. This time, more than 40 complete restriction symbols appeared one by one. Wang Lin pointed forward and his eyes became cold. All of the restriction symbol sets trembled before charging toward the valley. These complete restriction symbols merged into the void one by one and turned into ripples. There was a total of 83 restriction symbols from start to finish. This was a set of restriction symbols that Wang Lin had produced just to break this formation. A large amount of green light suddenly appeared around the valley, and even more green light appeared inside it. However, the moment this green light appeared, countless restriction symbols flashed around it. With every flash, the green light would dim until it completely disappeared. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning as he raised his foot and walked toward the valley step by step. With every step he took, even more green lights appeared within the valley. These green lights gathered together to form a large pillar that smashed itself toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was normal, and he didn't slow down at all as he took another step. The green light pillar came crashing toward Wang Lin, but when it was 10 steps away from him, a large amount of restriction symbols suddenly appeared between it and him. The green light pillar suddenly dimmed and began to collapse. As for Wang Lin, he didn't change his speed at all as he walked forward step by step. As Wang Lin moved forward, the green light pillar quickly retreated, and it continued to collapse as it retreated. When Wang Lin was only 10 steps from the valley, the green light pillar completely collapsed. At the same time, the valley suddenly shook. It felt like the protective force around it was quickly dissipating. "Celestial, have mercy, have mercy. Ouyang Hua admits his fault." Ouyang Hua's voice immediately came from within the valley. Ouyang Hua's voice was rushed and filled with bitterness. After he finished speaking, several dozen people walked out with Ouyang Hua leading the way. Although there was a wide age range among these people, all of them were male, and they had a large amount of green liquid smeared over their bodies. After Ouyang Hua walked out, he looked at Wang Lin, who was 10 steps away, and revealed a complex look in his eyes. Then he secretly let out a sigh before clasping his hands respectfully at Wang Lin and saying, with the voice of someone who has given up, "This old man Ouyang Hua didn't know you were a supreme celestial. Everything that just happened is my fault, and I'm willing to take responsibility for it. I beg Supreme Celestial to be virtuous and not destroy the formation, because it will expose my village to the demon spirits and we will become their food." The dozens of people behind Ouyang Hua all looked at Wang Lin with terror in their eyes. Wang Lin looked at everyone before raising his hand and forming a seal. He pointed at the air and countless ripples immediately appeared there before slowly dissipating. Without the existence of the ripples, the formation immediately began to recover. The dissipation of the protective force slowed down until it finally stopped. Ouyang Hua finally let out a sigh of relief. His gaze toward Wang Lin now contained a hint of respect along with a complex feeling. Ouyang Hua quickly said, "Supreme Celestial, time is getting late and the demon spirit night is about to arrive, so it's best we go inside to talk." Then he bit the tip of his right finger to squeeze out a drop of blood and then pressed it against a wall to the right. In an instant, the mountain began to rumble like a giant that was waking up. As the rumbling got louder, the side of the cliff began to distort like a painting until it split in half like it had been cut up by a pair of scissors. A straight tunnel leading directly into the valley passed by Ouyang Hua's group and stopped right before Wang Lin. Ouyang Hua respectfully said, "This way, Supreme Celestial." Wang Lin didn't waste any words and he indeed did have too many questions he needed to ask. He raised his foot and took a step forward. Inside the valley, it gave the feeling that even in the darkest night, there was still hope. This place looked like a living area for cultivators. However, there were only countless houses without the cultivators, jades, and magic treasures. The environment inside the valley was very green and filled with foliage. Although the sun was setting, the entire area still looked green. Wang Lin's gaze went through the houses and he saw people hiding inside. Almost every house had people hiding inside, and they were all women and children. They weren't topless like the men but had their bodies covered up. As for those children, some peeked out the windows when their mothers weren't looking. Their eyes were clear, distinct, and were filled with curiosity. When Wang Lin saw this, his step suddenly stopped. Everything before him was too different from what he saw before. Although he didn't care for good or evil and did everything following his own heart, he couldn't help but let out a sigh of shame. With his soul transformation cultivation, he spent so much effort to break that formation. He could have never expected this place to just be a village. Everyone beside the old man named Ouyang Hua was a mortal. Wang Lin's divine sense swept across the valley. Ouyang Hua and the people following him were still frowning. When they noticed Wang Lin stop, their hearts trembled. There were even some tribe members who bit hard on their lower lips and clenched their fists. In their view, this was their home, and for their home, they would give up everything, even their lives. Ouyang Hua quickly went up next to Wang Lin and bitterly said, "Supreme Celestial, you." Wang Lin turned around. His gaze swept past the people behind Ouyang Hua. With Wang Lin's mental strength, he could instantly tell what they were thinking. Wang Lin pondered for a bit before clasping his hands at these people and saying, "I have bothered you, and so I won't be entering the valley." With that, he pondered a bit and touched his bag of holding. 3 jade bottles appeared. He threw them forward and they floated to the ground. There are a few dozen pills inside these jade bottles. They have the effect of helping one recover and stabilizing one's foundation. This is my gift for barging in here. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he shook his head and walked out of the valley. Ouyang Hua's eyes lit up like they had never done before. He stared at the jade bottles as he walked forward and grabbed them. After opening one and taking a sniff, his expression couldn't help but change, then he put them away. He turned around and began speaking to his tribe in another language. All of them nodded and some of them even smiled at Wang Lin with goodwill and continued to clasp their hands at him. When Ouyang Hua finished speaking, those dozens of people scattered and returned to their houses. Soon after, there were a lot of festive sounds coming out of the houses. Inside the valley, the children ran out of the houses to play and the females all walked out. In almost an instant, the emptiness the valley had before disappeared and it was now filled with life. "Supreme Celestial, wait, wait," said Ouyang Hua as he rushed up. His expression was extremely sincere. Wang Lin didn't speak as he continued to step forward and was about to leave the valley. He had already decided to continue flying east to see what mysteries this place contained. He also wanted to see exactly what the ancient demon city 15 million kilometers away was like. As for questioning these people, Wang Lin had lost interest. The children's innocent eyes and the women's fearful gazes made Wang Lin remember a lot. Ouyang Hua didn't dare to get too close and loudly said, "Supreme Celestial, tonight is the night of the demon spirits. No matter how powerful you are, you won't have enough energy to last against the large amount of demon spirits. How about you stay here for now? If you still want to leave, it won't be too late tomorrow." This was the second time Wang Lin had heard the words, "Night of the Demon Spirits," from Ouyang Hua. He stopped and turned around to face Ouyang Hua. "What is the Night of the Demon Spirits?" Ouyang Hua quickly said, "Supreme Celestial, this old man will naturally tell you about it in detail. How about we go to my house and talk about it?" Wang Lin pondered a bit and then nodded. Ouyang Hua's house was at the northernmost corner of the village. There were no houses around his house, making this place very unusual. His house was circular like a steam bun and was partially buried underground. A majority of the house was cyan-colored. The house was of decent size with a wooden bed, wooden table, and a wood chairs. There were also some other things scattered across the room. There were some decorations on the walls, and in an inconspicuous corner, there was a painting. Standing inside the room, Wang Lin's gaze was locked onto the painting on the wall as he silently pondered. This painting was already turning yellow and the corners were damaged. The entire painting was also wrinkling up. It has clearly been around for a very long time. The person on the painting was a man around his 40s. He was looking into the distance as if he was pondering something, and his hand was casually placed before his chest, making a strange seal. Following the direction of the man's gaze, there was the sky. There was a black cloud in the air, an illusion seemed to appear from it. However, this painting was too old, so it was not possible to see what exactly was inside the black cloud. Ouyang Hua respectfully stood beside Wang Lin as he followed Wang Lin's gaze toward the painting and unconsciously revealed a look of admiration. Shortly after, while Wang Lin's gaze was still on the painting, he slowly asked, "How long has the formation around the valley existed for?" Ouyang Hua pondered a bit and then slowly said, "This formation has been around for far too long, so no one remembers when it was placed. From what I can remember, I only know that countless years ago, a person named Huang Long brought my ancestors and settled them here. Rumor has it that back then, the formation had already existed for countless years. Is it this person?" Wang Lin's gaze was still on this person. "Yes, he is Supreme Celestial Huang Long." The admiration in Ouyang Hua's gaze became even stronger. "Huang Long, he really is called Huang Long." Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light. After a long time, he let out a soft sigh and gently rubbed the area between his brows. "Huang Long. What the hell is going on?" Wang Lin seemed to have forgotten about Ouyang Hua's existence and his gaze was still locked onto the painting. The male on the painting was very handsome and was filled with a celestial aura. If someone said that he was a celestial, people would believe it. "Huang Long." Wang Lin's eyes revealed a look of confusion. This kind of gaze was very rare from Wang Lin. Wang Lin's heart has always been strong, but at the moment he entered the room and saw the painting, his origin soul shook. Wang Lin pondered for a long time before slowly asking, "How do you know he is named Huang Long?" Ouyang Hua was confused by this question. After hesitating for a bit, he asked, do you know Supreme Celestial Huang Long?" Wang Lin frowned. Ouyang Hua quickly said, "Everything I know came from the founding ancestor, that is where I heard Huang Long's name." Wang Lin pondered as he looked at the scroll and revealed a look of reminiscence. His heart seemed to have pierced through the East Demon Spirit Sea, pierced through space, pierced through the sky, and returned to his hometown on planet Suzaku. His heart also went back several hundred years, back to the young man who had just left the valley, wasn't accepted by the immortals, and was laughed at by everyone in the village. After many twists and turns of fate, this young man was accepted into a sect. This sect was called the Heng Yu sect. This video will end here.